Hi everyone, it's Catherine here from Inky Fingered Cat. I've already filmed one video and then my husband interrupted me and I got a bit annoyed because I'd done a whole thing and I can't be bothered with all of the editing to try and cut that bit out and refilm that bit and anyway, I then decided I'd waffle too much anyway, so I've just deleted the video because I'm in that kind of mood. Maybe probably not the best mood to make a video in. Never mind. Anyway, he's now safely watching football. So I think I'm going to get a little bit of free time without him coming in and interrupting. He thought he was being hilarious. Yeah, I beg to differ. Anyway, I did, however, decide what I was going to craft with after a lot of waffling. So I'm going to do that. So I'm going to pop you in the overhead clamp. And then, yeah, let's get playing. So I did end up putting this in fast forward because it was a really long video and I did a load of waffling and then I stopped talking halfway through. So you're in fast forward. So I'm using the Garden Path stencils and I'm using them for the first time. This is the first time I've used this particular set. And it does give you the instructions on each one. It's got a little label at the top that tells you. So the first one says background, then it says large flowers. And I'm pretty much doing this how it's intended. So using my blending brushes to add ink. Will say those centres of those flowers are pesky little things and they don't half move. So I do get quite a bit of bleeding going on underneath the edges. Where they move around a bit. So note to self, must do something slightly more gentle when doing it again in future. I pulled out loads of inks for this and went really bright and quite heavy with the inking. So it's quite a vibrant panel at the end. But you can see here how easy it is. I mean, it probably takes about 5 minutes maximum to do this. It took me a lot longer because I was waffling and yabbering, etc. Anyway, I then decided I was going to do something slightly different with this last layer and I wasn't just going to ink up. So I am inking up my leaf bits, but for the centres of the flowers, I'm not, and I'm going to do something different. So the idea for this came from reading craft stamper magazines, and I was getting rid of them all, so I flicked through all of them and wrote down loads of things that had inspired me or techniques to try. And one of the ones that I was doing was this one, which was to add gilding flakes through a stencil. So the way I thought of doing this was by using it's Ranger's sticky embossing powder. So you add it like you do for any other embossing powder with Versamark or some kind of embossing ink. And then it becomes sticky when you heat it. And here I am just adding the gilding flakes, being careful not to cough or sneeze, because otherwise we know the whole room would be covered with gilding flakes. And as soon as I've got it to a certain point, immediately get the lid on that box. And then the little scrubby tool, which is one from a Flitter Glue kit, which I've had for years. I decided that was the one that I wanted to use to be able to buff it up. So this stencil leaves a little space, which is perfect for the stamped sentiments that come with the kit. It doesn't come with the kit, they're two separate products, but obviously they coordinate. And I decided to stamp that using black Versafine, and double stamped it just to make sure it was definitely bold before I trimmed down the panel. I kept the card then really quite simple. I used black cardstock to mount it with quite a fine border, but it really just provided the sort of the balance to that black writing. And then I decided, seeing as the first colour I'd used was Pool Party in the background, although admittedly my blending brush was a little bit dirty, so it had already got a different blow ink on it, so it comes out a little bit more blue than turquoise. But yeah, Pool Party, so I chose that for my card blank, and then I decided to wrap some twine around the top. So the size of the card is slightly wider than the standard A6 card that I would normally do. It is slightly wider because they're all geared towards American card sizes. That's the reason why. So I decided though that I wanted to ink up a panel in the centre of the card as well. So normally when I use coloured cardstock, I usually put a white insert in and it's usually plain. Sometimes I'll stamp a sentiment on it, but nothing else. But I decided, actually no, I was going to use the ink and the brushes and the ink that was on the brushes, so I didn't re-ink anything, to create a paler version of the panel, which looks so pretty too. That took 3.5 minutes. I know because I timed it. It isn't perfectly lined up, but it's enough for what's on the inside of the card. I ummed and ahed about adding gems and decided no, those gilding flakes did the job perfectly. So here's some pictures showing the card finished off. Hope you enjoyed. Thumbs up if you did. And don't forget to subscribe to see more videos. Don't know when the next one will be up, so it's probably a good idea to hit that notification bell. And obviously leave me a comment below. Do you like this card? It is so easy to put together. I've got loads of ideas on how I'm going to use the kit again. So, yeah, until next time, goodbye.